Hey everyone, Underground Geek here. Welcome to another episode of Dan's Tweets of the Week. And you may be wondering, hey, Underground Geek, what's Dan's Tweet of the Week? We never heard of that. And you'd be really dumb. But let me explain it to you. Basically, Dan Slott, who writes for Amazing Spider-Man, if you can believe it, gets on Twitter. He has 100,000 followers. And he chooses to tweet probably 20 to 30 times a day about other people and about Trump instead of about his own book. And that's one of the reasons that Silver Surfer got canceled, is because he never promoted it until after it was already canceled. So basically, we're going to have some fun with this. I'm going to do some funny voices, and we're going to continue this every week until you guys tell me to stop. And then I'm going to keep doing it anyway because I run this. But anyway, moving on. So, let's start with these tweets here. I'm going to eat one of these little sour gummy worms. Sour gummy worms. So, let's see. It starts out with, he's basically talking about Hube, which is a guy that I follow on Twitter, and how Hube is supposedly obsessed with Dan Slott. And he shows all these different tweets that Hube has tweeted about Dan Slott this, Dan Slott that, blah, 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 blah. Well, as you're going to be able to tell in this video, for someone that likes to accuse other people about stalking people, he sure does stalk a lot of people. So let's talk about this. Then he says, somebody says, holy cats, I have to say stepping into the world of Dan Slott Revenge Squad has been an eye-opening experience. And Dan Slott says, took me less than 5 minutes to search his Dan Slott hashtag. It took you 5 minutes to search his Dan Slott hashtag? Are you stupid? Can you not go to the search bar and put in hashtag Dan Slott? I mean, you sure can put in hashtag Trump, because we notice that by your tweets every day. But he says, screen cap 6 columns, put them next to each other, and screen cap that. But they try to do a judo move on this and make it sound like I was obsessed. Well, let's talk about this. You just said you screen cap 6 columns together into one big screen cap about one guy, put it on your Twitter, and then called him obsessed. Okay, sounds good. Moving on. Oh yeah, he put in at the end of it, he put oy vey. You know, because that's so cool. But anyway, sour gummy worms. So, this is a rant he goes on here. These are about 5 tweets together because there's so many I had to box them together. This would be like 30 minutes long. He says, the freedom to do that is one of the things I believe makes our country great. Okay. First of all, you don't like our country because you constantly make fun of it every day. I find it odd when fellow Americans would want to silence me when I speak out about what I believe are abuses of political power. First of all, you said I believe. That doesn't make it right. It just means that you believe it. Abuses of political power. Well, you're abusing your power because you put Spider-Man on your profile pic. You put Spider-Man on your banner. You wrote in your bio that I write for Amazing Spider-Man for Marvel. And then you talk about Trump all day. Who is abusing the power now? So, to the next one he says, Gold Star families aren't entitled to feel the way they do, or aren't entitled to speak out about how they've been attacked or politicized? Nobody cares, dude. To veterans were only... To veterans who were only sent in. You need to proofread your stuff. This is why your books constantly have errors. Sent in after the media shone a spotlight on his failure to send them in. Do you think the aggrieved and wronged? What are you even saying? Do you think other vets would agree with you that McCain is a traitor to his oath? Yes. Isn't it true that Trump's personal promised donations to veterans were sent in only after? Okay, yeah, I see what he's saying now. He's going on a multiple tweet rant there. Okay, so moving on. Some point you'd hope someone how are you? You're making up words here. Some point you'd hope someone have enough sense to know if they've created 8 sock puppet accounts to go after you, they might be the bad guy. Well, can you show us these 8 sock puppet accounts? We'd like to see them. Maybe some proof would be good rather than just writing something down. And by the way, he has 0 likes on that tweet, by the way. 100,000 followers, 0 likes. Outside of the gag of Peter wearing Bobby's shirt, can you show me a panel in any comic I've written the last 5 years that's political? Why? You should know you wrote the comic book. First of all, they're not talking about politics in your comics. We're talking about politics on your Twitter feed constantly. And just like I think it was Doug Ernst said, when they're saying they don't want any politics, what they're saying is less. They want less. Can you go a whole week with only talking about Spider-Man every time you tweet? Every time you tweet, you should have a little sticky note on your phone that says, tweet about Spider-Man. That's what you should have. If elected, I'll release my taxes. You won't find me on the golf course. The tax bill isn't for the rich. No collusion. It's in all caps. All 16 women were lying. Now, judging by Dan Slott and his activities at Marvel, I can't tell if he's talking about Trump or himself. But anyway, moving on. I tweet about my work, comics, politics, movie, TV, the family pet, and whatever interests me. If that bothers you, you can always unfollow. That was my attempt at Yoda. I could also talk like Smeagol because Dan Slott kind of reminds me of Gollum. But who says you can always unfollow. And that's what he constantly uses all the time. He uses things like, well, you don't have to follow me, blah, blah, blah. They don't. People just start following you, but then they don't watch any of the tweets that you say. Because there's 2 different settings on Twitter. You can hit follow, and then you can hit show me all of their tweets where it'll constantly notify you when they tweet. These people aren't watching your tweets because if they were, they would unfollow you because it's constant bullcrap like this. So then he says, I get the MAGA bro code for stop talking about how demonstrably awful this president actually is. Please tell us how he's bad. We don't know if you've talked about it. Could you please talk about it? Yep, I just turned in a Spider-Man plot and a script passed yesterday. My editor was very happy, and I'll be turning in a Spidey script Friday. I'm sure your editor was very happy because the editors that work for Marvel get paid peanuts and they don't have any kind of testosterone to stand up to anybody to tell them that there might be a problem. So they constantly affirmate to you and tell you that you're great and wonderful and everything's fine. Let's see here. You could always turn the channel and listen to something else, right? You don't have to read or follow my Twitter feed. It's not mandatory. Whenever this guy said, it's like hearing a radio host talking about the same topic over and over again. Yeah, see, that's what he's talking about. He's trying to say that he wants to follow you, Dan. He wants to follow you because you write Spider-Man, and he can't because you're such a dingleberry. As long as he's president, it's not a dead horse. If he tells new lies and does new awful things, I'm going to feel free to comment on them. I'm sure you will feel free to comment on them because you're not doing anything else like working on your book. If I were a plumber, should my Twitter account only be about plumbing? Again, my Twitter feed is my personal account. It's not mandatory. That's a lie. If it was your personal account, you wouldn't have freaking Spider-Man as your profile pic. And Spider-Man as your cover page. And Spider-Man as your job title. I mean, come on. Okay, let's do an experiment here, Dan. If you want to act so high and mighty, let's do an experiment. I want you to create a separate Twitter account. I just want you to create a separate Twitter account that just says Dan Slott with your picture on it. It doesn't say anything about Spider-Man or Marvel. It only says Dan Slott personal account. That's all it says. And then I want you can even go adding people. You can even go tell people, hey, this is my personal account, blah, blah, blah. Let's see how many followers you get compared to your Spider-Man account. Let's just see. I could say it'll probably be 25,000 at the most. And then he says right here, outside, this is where he's talking about, for outside of Peter wearing a t-shirt for a joke, can someone please post any of these political panels that have been in my comic books the last 5 years? And this guy says, something tells me you've blocked the vast majority of people who would be happy to answer this. Hashtag echo chamber, hashtag hugbox. And then he has to be continually snide right off the bat when he says, something tells me all those people will see an entire video dedicated to a screen cap of this tweet over in their echo chamber in 3, 2, 1. You got 27 likes and 1 retweet for that. That was almost a week ago. You have 100,000 followers. Stop, Dan. Just stop. And then right here, he has a screen cap the President of the United States and talk about him. He's the President of the United States. You write a comic book. And you don't even do that right because you show up late with your books half the time. It says, he told Homeland Security to up the vetting process. Okay. Now, just imagine how mad he'd get if a white terrorist shot 500 people. First of all, he wasn't a terrorist. He was just a crazy guy with a gun. Second of all, he did get mad about that. To say that he didn't get mad about that would say that he was a sociopath. Who doesn't get upset about that kind of stuff? It has nothing to do. That thing has nothing to do with what he tweeted. I appreciate differing views. No, you don't. I don't appreciate the same view, misinformation, parroted from the exact same source. Like what? Like what source? Are you talking about the common sense source where people get on your Twitter and then 5 minutes later they're throwing up in their mouths? And this guy says, kids and readers realistically don't want their daily political pills from you. They came here for Spidey. Yeah, because they see Spider-Man on your freaking profile pic. That's Spider-Man. And then he says, parents should monitor their young children's feeds. If they have a problem with my feed and views, they should block, mute, or unfollow me. Why would a parent have to see your Twitter feed, Dan Slott, and be worried about their children? Is it because you write things that are inappropriate on your Twitter feed? I have an account on Twitter, and I don't worry one bit about what's going to pop up on my account and a kid seeing it. What's wrong, Dan? You feeling a little bit of guilt? That had 32 likes, by the way. This is my personal feed. It's not mandatory. People are free to unfollow, as are parents who should be monitoring their younger kids' feeds. So then he has to retweet that and then put that on there. That got 500 likes. That's pretty good considering you have 100,000 followers. But, most of this took place on November 3rd or November 1st, which was Wednesday. Because, he's not doing anything like writing a book. And here's what we need to talk about. This is my personal feed. No, it's not. It's not mandatory. Well, it is if you want to keep your job. People are free to unfollow, as are parents who should be monitoring their younger kids' feeds. Oh, you're so funny, Dan. It's not like you have children. And then this one guy says, I applaud you for trying to reason with Slott, but it's a losing battle. Slott cannot be reasoned with. He can't be reasoned with, and he will not stop until you are dead. I just realized this. I thought he would be reasonable, willing to see things through a different lens. I was wrong. You right, Brother Midnight. I just realized you liked your own tweet. The ultimate echo chamber. Bazinga! Oh, you got him. He just hit a homer out into right field. It's going, gone. It just hit the green monster. I mean, that's all you had about what he said. That's all you got from that was, you got your own tweet? Oh, you're a dork. What you say to me bounces off of me and sticks to you. And then right here he says, those children would not be better served listening to New York's leadership, who are would be better served to listen to New York's leadership, who are comforting and inspiring, instead of POTUS, who is politicizing. He's a politician. Why wouldn't he politicize? But second of all, he's not politicizing. He's just saying what is going on is terrible, and you're talking about Muslim children. Okay, makes a lot of sense. And then he said, that's not what I asked. He said, and yet that's how I sensibly and fully answered your loaded question. No, you gave a loaded answer for a loaded question, so you're just a jerk. I think you trolls are spending way too much time creating accounts to troll. I think you trolls are spending way too much time creating accounts to troll you with. Okay. Yep. If it's even slightly rude and has 0 followers, it's pretty much an insta-block now. That's what you do when you're scared of criticism. You block everybody that might have a chance to speak out. So he doesn't even get to hear what anybody says because he hides behind that wall until he unblocks them in the middle of the night, comments on their tweets, and blocks them back. Oh, who did that? Oh, Dan Slott actually did that to me, and I caught him. Dan Slott says, that's less than the cost of 2 days of Melania and Barron living in Trump Tower before they eventually moved to the White House. First of all, they couldn't move to the White House just then because Barron was still in school. Second of all, you're a jerk. Third of all, it says Trump claimed that the steel dozer cost $12 million. You're trying to flip a thing where somebody spent $12 million on false accusations. You're trying to spin that to equivalent of Melania and Barron living in the Trump Tower. Somebody committing fraud over somebody living in their own building. Okay? That makes a lot of sense. Then he retweets Stephen King, where Stephen King said, you need to shut up about pending legal action. Were you born stupid? Oh, man! You got him, Stephen King. Time to write you another book about little kids raping each other. Moving on. Dan Slott says, thread. And he retweets what Jordan D. White said. You know, Jordan D. White, the guy that is in Black Panther that doesn't even have an African accent. He says, I just don't get people adding folks to insult them. It's not about being able to take criticism. It's a messed up thing to do. How dare they're adding people on Twitter? Oh my God, I can't believe it. Hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband because they out here at everybody. Oh my goodness. Shut up. God, you make like millions of dollars and you're worried about somebody adding you on Twitter. Then he retweets this. And here's my thing. In case you people don't know, this rogue, disgruntled employee on his last day at Twitter deactivated Trump's account. And it was down for 11 minutes till somebody found it. And then they put it back on there. And all these idiot liberals are just cheering him on. He committed a criminal act against somebody. And you're cheering him on. See, this is the problem. You didn't actually do anything. You're just trying to virtue signal and use what he did to make you sound tough. It's the same thing as when celebrities receive an award, go up on the podium, and they start saying, we need to punch Nazis. We need to punch Nazis, blah, blah, blah. You're not actually doing anything. You're just riding their coattails. So then he says, he retweets with the Twitter government. It's funny, it says Twitter government. You have to have your own government. When they're saying, through our investigation, we have learned that this was done by a Twitter customer support employee who did this on the employee's last day. We're conducting a full internal review. And then he shows the guy from Shawshank Redemption pulling that scene in the movie. And then he also retweets where somebody says, blast schools out from the car stereo while speeding away from employee parking lot. Where they're talking about that again. He committed a criminal act. Like, he's probably either going to get fined or go to jail. Like, seriously, calm down. So then he puts on there the definition of perjury. You know, I love how these guys always try to use these definitions like they mean anything at all. It says the offense of willingly telling an untruth in court after having taken an oath or affirmation. Kind of like when you say that you're going to promote your book and then you don't do it. It's kind of like that. And then we go back to the beginning here. If you can't see the difference between a statement and an analogy, maybe no one should take your comic news journalism seriously. Harumph. And it says, basically saying, if Dan Slott can't see the major differences between plumbing and the comic book industry, there's no one should take him seriously. Exactly. If he thinks someone being a plumber is the same as someone using their private Twitter account to gain followers and then acting like a jerk, then you don't need it. But anyway, that's all I got. I just thought I'd do this little video and give everybody some fun, give everybody some entertainment, because that's what Dan's here for. He's here to entertain, even though it may be inadvertently through his stupidity. But still, guys, we're going to laugh at it. But all right, guys, that's all I got. Tell me what you think about this video. Tell me what you think about his tweets. And I'm going to start doing this every week because basically he does the same thing to Trump, so why can't I do it to him? So you're going to have to send me these tweets. Please send me these tweets to @UndergroundGeek on Twitter because I'm blocked by him. But all right, guys, have a good day. Underground Geek out.
I wish I knew you when I was young.